Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you all the books that I ended up reading in the month of December. So December, I read a total of 5 books. I had a really good kind of reading streak going on, and then I think I just got a little slumpy, the week in between like Christmas and New Year's. Like I just didn't pick up a book at all until the 2nd of January. So I had a little bit of break from reading, just kind of relaxing and everything. But I definitely think I'm getting back into, reading routine again now that I'm kind of back to school doing my research stuff. So I have 5 books that I'm excited to share with you. They're kind of all over in terms of genre too. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting up at the first of the month, I ended up reading Jade City by Fonda. This is a book that was recommended to me by my boyfriend. He read this trilogy and he said it's one of his favorite kind of like newer fantasy series that has come out in recent years, and I loved it. I was definitely blown away by this. It is an urban fantasy that I would say takes place in the 90s just based on the technology, even though they don't explicitly say. And they're on the island of Kong, which is essentially a small island that has the only kind of resource in the world of jade, which people who are have the ability to utilize jade can either go, have superhuman kind of abilities where they can run fast or move quickly or hear things, like those type of things. So obviously that can lead to kind of a power dynamic, and within the city of Kong itself, or the island of Kong, there is kind of a two dueling kind of clans, or like I would say they're kind of more like kind of the mob, like two mobs that are fighting against each other, and it kind of goes off from there. I really like this. I think especially, I will say the first like 100 pages or so were a little confusing because you're trying to just get acclimatized to this world and you're kind of just thrust in. But once you kind of figure out who's who, kind of the political structure within this world, I was definitely blown away by this series. In particular, there's like storylines that you don't think are significant, but they become significant later on, and the interweaving of these narratives. You follow kind of the main family who kind of this series is centered upon, and then there's other side stories as well. But in addition to being a urban fantasy, there's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of politically based maneuvers and political aspects that are integrated into this, which I really enjoyed. And like I said, once I got past like that 100-page mark, I really liked it. I think I'm really excited to kind of continue on with this series. There is something really, there are times when I was reading this where I was shocked with what was happening. Like I was completely thrown off guard. Like I was completely surprised by these things. And yeah, that's how a testament to how this is written. It is incredibly written, and I was just really surprised by this. And there are a lot of elements too that took me by surprise as well. And I think for an author that can keep you on your toes like that, that makes for a really fun read. And from what I've heard and what my boyfriend's told me as well, this one is the weakest out of the trilogy, so it will just definitely get better from here, and I definitely can't wait to kind of marathon the rest of the books in the series. Next up, I have one of my most anticipated releases of 2022, and it is A World of Curiosities by Louise. This is the 18th installment in the Inspector Gamache series, and of course I was really excited for this. I was like the first person to get this one from the library too, because as soon as I saw that they had it on their catalog online, I put it on hold, so I was one of the first people to get it, which I was really excited about. And I read this one fairly quickly as well. So this kind of follows Gamache. There's kind of a dual storyline. First, we find kind of how Gamache and Zhongai met on their first case, and that's kind of a past storyline. And then in the present day storyline, Myrna ends up discovering this hidden wall within her kind of house above the bookstore, and it holds this mysterious painting called the World of Curiosities, and it kind of goes off from there. I love this series. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously, I still have yet to see Three Pines, but I'm gonna try to convince my boyfriend that will be our new show to watch. So I'll have it, and once I watch the series, I'll let you guys know. But this one I really enjoyed. I love the kind of integration of a past storyline that kind of ties into this investigation as well. I found that to be really fun and really well done, and it kind of took me surprised too, because the book starts out with that past, and so I was trying to figure out like what is actually happening. But I really enjoyed it. I think for me it is the cast of characters that really makes this book unique and fun. And so I'm really excited too, because me and my boyfriend were gonna go to Ireland, but just with financial reasons on my end, being a student, we're gonna wait until I have an adult job next year to go. So instead we're going to Montreal and Quebec City. So it'll be nice to kind of see, especially some of the places that are talked about in the book in particular within the city. It'll be fun to kind of be like, oh, I know what these things are now. So like obviously I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. So next up I have At First Light by Barbara Nickless, and this is her new Evan Sterling series. So I've read her Sydney Parnell series, which I really enjoyed, and so this is her kind of newest series that she started out with. This follows Dr. Evan Sterling, who is a semiotician. I think I'm saying that right, but basically he gets hired by the police to look at murders, to look at the symbolism left behind by the murder, to kind of determine how they can find clues within the symbolism left behind at the scene, and how they can use that to eventually find the criminal. And we also have, he's good friends with Addie, who is one of the homicide detectives. And I was really excited for this because I do, like I said, I do really love her Sydney Parnell series, so I had high expectations going to this. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was, you know, it was like a fun mystery, but there were aspects in here that I felt were just kind of missing or weren't as well developed as her previous work, which I was comparing this to. In particular, I felt like I didn't really get to know the main characters of Addie and Evan. In particular with the Sydney Parnell series, I felt so connected to her and her past and what she's kind of currently thinking and going through at that moment in time. At this one, I kind of was kept at arm's length. I never really felt that connection that I've had with her previous characters, and so that it was hard for me to be really attached to what these people were going through, because like I said, I wasn't really invested in them, and I still feel like I don't really know them. Another thing too is, like, you could tell the author did a lot of research into one, kind of the main things here is like Vikings and like bog bodies, and so you can tell the author did a lot of research, and so she integrates a lot of that knowledge into the kind of text in here. But the way it's done, it's almost, one of my lights went off, sorry. It's almost as if it's like info dumpy, where it's a little bit too much information all at once, where one character will basically go on like a 3-page monologue of basically some arbitrary fact about Vikings, which was a little bit too much, and it kind of took away from the pacing of this one. I feel like if the author focused, like, obviously she had to focus on some of like the historical aspects that are integrated into here, but I felt like if she kind of put that kind of manpower into her research and put it towards character development, I felt like it would have been more kind of smooth sailing. And if the editor was able to kind of condense that down a little bit, I think it would have been more enjoyable. So I'm hoping that in the second book that these kind of, you know, small nitpicky things are kind of cleared up. And so yeah, like I said, 3 out of 5 stars. It was fine, but it wasn't the best book I've read. It was like decent, but I'm willing to kind of continue on with the series to see if it's something that gets better. Next up, we have The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. This is her newest book that came out towards the end of November, and I was really excited to pick this one up. I really enjoyed her memoir, Becoming, and I just find her so inspirational. So basically anything she puts out, I will read. And basically this one, although there's like some kind of memoiry aspects in here. It's more, I would say it's not like self-help, but it's kind of more guidance and how we overcome obstacles. And this was inspired by the events of the pandemic, George Floyd, January 6th, like those type of things, and how in the world, in like the chaos of the world, can you kind of power through and rise above that, and how what it essentially means into when she says like when we go high. And so I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I felt there was parts that I felt like I was like, this is just getting a little bit too repetitive, and I think it could have been condensed. I think if it was more short essays, I think it would have been a little bit better and just slightly more condensed. But I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I find her very inspirational, and she's very candid in here about having to deal with a lot of, you know, struggling issues and kind of the stress that has created the kind of, you know, worldwide events that have caused a lot of stress to a lot of people, and just her advice of kind of overcoming that, and just little things here or there that she's kind of found throughout her life and her career and being a first lady, and just kind of how she's able to kind of channel that and really kind of get rid of all the white noise around you. But I think if you like Michelle Obama and you liked Becoming, I think you will like this. Like I said, I find her very inspiring, and I'm very much like in admiration of her and everything that she's done and how she's gone through these events with so much grace. And so yeah, like I said, I don't really have much to say about this one. There, like you can tell, like I tabbed like one thing that I really liked in here. But I think if you like Michelle Obama, I think you will enjoy this one as well. And lastly, this is something a little bit different than what I tend to normally read, but I had to read it given the holiday season, and this was a gift from my boyfriend's grandmother to me for Christmas. And I really love the hippos at the Cincinnati Zoo where they live, and they have like a new baby one that's so cute, but Fiona is like the prize joy of the Cincinnati Zoo. So his grandma got me this like picture book of a very Fiona Christmas, which is just adorable. The illustrations in here were just the cutest things I have ever seen. It was such a joy to read. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was adorable, and I've learned that there are more books within the Fiona world, and just that's so cute. Just like I don't know why I love the hippos so much. Like I think they're just so adorable. But yeah, really loved it. It was just very cute, and it was fun to read by the Christmas tree, and I just think the illustrations in here are just really fun. So I thought this was really well done, even though it is a kid's book. I'm like, this would be a good one to read to my kids, because if they're anything like me, they will be obsessed with hippos. So it was just a fun little Christmassy read. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what books you read this month and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.